Hello guys, welcome back to our channel for another kiln opening video. These pieces were fired at cone 6 with a 5 minutes hold. This is basically on what I do with my reclaimed clay. I think I have 5 or 6 or more than buckets of reclaimed clay. So my husband processed them on the pug mill and then I practice on making big pieces like fruit bowls and then big vases. And I also make planters out of this reclaimed clay. So here are my cones. Since I'm firing at cone 6, I am using cone 5, cone 6, and then the cone 7. Looks like cone 7 is just slightly bent. Okay, let's start with this blender. Ta-da! It ran. So the half bottom of this planter is 3 coats of iron luster, and then the top half is I did 1 coat of sapphire float, and then on top of that is 2 coats of blue rutile. And then you see the stripes around the planter. That is oatmeal, like a very thick stripes of oatmeal. I also did it on the inside. So there's that. And that is the saucer for that, which is just a plain 3 coats of iron luster. So here's another experiment. The half bottom is 2 coats of winter wood, and then the half is 2 coats of raspberry mist and covered with 2 coats of blue hydrangea. The same thing on the inside. There's the saucer for that, which is just plain 2 coats of winterwood. So that goes with that. So for this planter, the rim and then the bottom, I put 3 coats of cosmic tea dust. And then at the middle part, I did obsidian, followed by smoky merlot, 4 coats of seaweed, and then the blue, that is the 3 coats of indigo float. I used 2 coats of obsidian, smoky merlot, and the indigo float are all 3 coats, and then the seaweed is 4 coats. Inside is 3 coats of the cosmic tea dust. I don't know, it doesn't show on the camera, but the inside is actually so sparkly because of the cosmic tea dust. The saucer is 3 coats of the cosmic tea dust. I just like how shiny the cosmic tea dust is. So here's another test that is stroke and coat. The yellow, that is sun-kissed, and then the bottom part, that is the speckled jaded. So I was trying to blend the two together. I think it's gonna look good on another color, or maybe a jaded, except that's not going to be speckled. So I am going to do more experiments on those, trying to blend two colors of the stroke and coat. Anyway, I think it's cute for a pencil holder. Okay, I think this is the ugliest vase I ever made. So the blue stripe that you are seeing that goes around the vase, that is actually a black Amaco underglaze. And then I covered the whole thing with white opal from Mayco. And then on top of that, I put two coats of lavender mist. So this goes to my never repeat list when it comes to glaze. So for this one, the bottom, that is three coats of tourmaline, and then the upper half is two coats of celadon bloom. And on the inside, that is just two coats of celadon bloom. And you can also see the line where the celadon bloom was overlapping the tourmaline. Here's another test from the new Mayco colors that just came out. This is a combination of the fossil rock, sand dollar, light and dark flux, and then the pink gloss. So what I did on this vase is I put a stripe or stripes of the light and dark flux like randomly on the upper part of the vase, and in between those stripes I also put the pink gloss, including just the rim. So after the fluxes were dried, I put two coats of the fossil rock at the bottom part of the vase. Fossil rock is not food safe, by the way. And then the upper part is two coats of sand dollar. So the sand dollar is covering the fluxes. And also the inside, I just put the two coats of sand. Three coats of honey flux as the base. Yes, I love honey flux so much. That is the bottom. Same thing with the inside, three coats. On the rim, including the rim like on the inside, is two coats of lavender mist. So you can see the soft lavender, soft, like very light purple on the rim. And then followed by two coats of ancient jasper, just a very small band below the lavender mist. And then, of course, followed by the three coats of textured turquoise. I don't know if you can see the handle. Another version. Okay, you can tell that I'm addicted. Just so addicted with this combination. Three coats of honey flux, inside and outside. And then two coats of ancient jasper on the rim, followed by three coats of textured turquoise. The only thing I did different is The color variation below the textured turquoise, that is two coats of smoky merlot. Another difference from the first one is I put lavender mist on the first one right on the rim of the vase. But for this one, there's no lavender mist. Instead, I put smoky merlot below the textured turquoise. For the rim and the bottom part of this vase is three coats of ancient copper. And then in between of those ancient copper is, of course, three coats of honey flux. Below the ancient copper on top, I put three coats of blue rutile, and then the rest is covered with purple crystal. So the bottom, there's supposed to be ancient copper there, but it just disappeared. When I was glazing this vase, I was chatting with my family, so I was not really paying attention on how I am taking down notes. So I went to bed and then went back to the studio the next morning and was looking at my notes, and it says that I only put two coats of purple crystal. So I put a question mark in it. I'm sure I put three coats, but to be sure, I put another one coat of purple crystal. So total, there's four coats of purple crystal, and that is why it ran so much and totally covered the ancient copper at the bottom. The inside of the vase, I did three coats of Albanese slip brown, except for the rim because that is covered with ancient copper. I think this is the last big vase that I have in the kiln. So the bottom was glazed with three coats of ancient copper. And then from the rim up to the ancient copper is two coats of obsidian. Then I covered the obsidian with, so from the rim, that is three coats of indigo float, that is the bluish part, and then followed by three coats of smoky merlot, the green part, that is four coats of seaweed, and then followed by three coats of indigo float. But on the rim, on top of the indigo float on the rim, I put two bands or two coats of ancient jasper. On the inside of this piece is three coats of obsidian. However, on the rim, you can say the ancient jasper. Okay, in order to achieve that variation in color of the ancient copper, where the indigo float and the ancient copper meets, I did a very thick band of oatmeal. I know it's a lot of colors that you have to put on a certain piece, but the outcome or the result is very beautiful. Here is a matching fruit bowl to that big piece or big vase earlier. So you can see the ancient copper on both bottom and at the rim of the piece on the outside. And then on the below the ancient copper is three coats of blue rutile and then followed by the three coats of purple crystal. On the inside, ancient copper on the rim. Below the blue rutile is another 3 coats of the purple crystal. And here is another fruit bowl with my first testing of Peacock glazing. So disappointed. I don't know if you can see the pinhole likes on the blue part of the bowl. So, but anyway, the blue, the upper, those blue, that is the moody blue stroke and coat. The greenish part is the speckled jaded. Below the speckled jaded, you can see the sun-kissed. So everything was 3 coats. And then of course I did the light flux. And then after everything else, I covered the whole piece with 2 coats of sandstone. Here is a before shot of this peacock glazing. So this is how it looks like before I covered it with 2 coats of sandstone. And then the back side of this fruit bowl is, you can see the sandstone in there. So 2 coats of sandstone, and halfway down, I did 2 coats of frosted lemon covering the sandstone. This will be refired on my next firing and see what happens with the blue part of this bowl. The camera stopped working when I was still unloading. So anyway, this is still a part of this kiln unloading. So here's another fruit bowl. So the base is another 3 coats of honey flux, both inside and the outside. So on the rim, you can see like the reddish or brownish color, that is 2 coats of the ancient jasper. So there's my back, 3 coats of honey flux, and then ancient jasper and textured turquoise. So here I did an alternating color. The greenish part you can see there is ancient jasper. So that is 2 coats of the ancient jasper, and then followed by 3 coats of textured turquoise. Next one is 3 coats of smoky merlot, followed by 3 coats of chun plum. I'm not liking the outcome of this bowl. I should have just glazed it, like doing a wavy band around the bowl instead of doing like this. However, I kind of like the color in between, the honey flux in between those colors. Here is another very simple combination on the Amaco side. So the middle part, you can see the 4 coats of mulberry. And then bottom and rim is 3 coats of cosmic tea dust. So the cosmic tea dust is overlapping a little bit of the mulberry, both on the top and bottom. And then the inside, I did the same thing, 4 coats of mulberry, and then on the rim is being covered by cosmic tea dust. So here is a tester for black aventurine and honeyflex. Okay, I'm about to give up black aventurine. Okay, so anyway, this 3 coats of black aventurine as the base, inside and then outside. The blue portion that you're seeing there, that is actually a blue-green underglaze. Because what I did is after I put the black aventurine, I put a circle, a single band of light flux. And on top of that light flux, I did dots of the blue-green underglaze. So I wasn't expecting that it's going to run so much that is going to destroy the piece. So you might be asking, why would I put a light flux on the piece? Well, I'm gonna tell you next because I'm going to show you my first experiment with honey flux and then the aventurine. Oh, by the way, that's how it ran. So we cannot save the base. I mean, it's still a base, but it's just going to be for my personal use. I like the effect. How the honey flux ran. But here is my first test. That is my first test with black aventurine and then the honey flux. Look at the honey flux. It didn't even move. There's very little movement. It didn't run like how it did on this other piece. So that's what prompted me to put a very thin coat, one single coat of light flux before I did the honey flux. But I guess I'm not supposed to do that. Unless if I screwed up on my first testing and I put another glaze instead of honey flux on top of that aventurine. But anyway, I am gonna try again for the third time. If it still doesn't work, then I'm done with black aventurine. Another tester, this is a planter wherein it's just a combination of lavender mist, two coats as the base, and then halfway I did two coats of sandstone. It's kind of pretty. I've seen this combination on Facebook before, but I never tried it until now. And the final piece from this kiln unloading. This is again from the new Mayco colors. That is the Riptide. Two coats of Riptide, inside and outside. And then on the rim, I did a wavy band of three coats of honey flux. By the way, Riptide is not food safe, I think. So for all the new Mayco colors that I tested, there's only few that I like. This one, the Riptide, the Fossil Rock, and then the Nimbus. Alright, that is guys for this kiln opening video. Thank you guys for watching and I will see you on the next one.